Congo, for inviting us to make a presentation. My presentation basically, I will focus, during my presentation, I will focus on some of the grassroots things of the social responsibility. I took out the word corporate out of my presentation because I think it's more, like has been discussed in the morning, it's more social responsibility of all of us to take care of our environment and our natural resources. So, what you see up here on the screen is a beautiful picture of Gurgaon at night. People who live in Gurgaon, you know very well. And you must ask yourself the question if this type of growth or this type of environment practices are sustainable for the future. Next slide. Do I have a computer? Okay, you will do it? Okay. Before I get into my presentation, I thought it would be a good idea to just represent a little bit about what IRAD is all about, Institute of Rural Research and Development, IRAD in short. Basically has three centers of this we basically are an NGO, non-profit organization, working in Gurgaon, our office in Sector 44. We have three centers that IRAD, basically the Capacity Building Center, where we work on trainings, a lot of trainings are held at IRAD, as well as we work on implementation of various programs. We look at an integrated sustainable village development approach in the villages. We have presence in about 17 villages of the Mewat area of Haryana. It's one of the most backward districts of the country. And we have programs on areas of water management, income enhancement, life skills education, alternative energy, and health. These are the five main programs of the organization. The concept is to make an overall impact. How can we, through our interventions, how can we make an overall impact in the villages? Similarly, we have started the Rural Research Center. This center is basically a multifaceted approach in the sense that we would like the students from various universities, various institutions across the country to come together and do the research, use the data that we have in our organization, and use the data to do their hands-on research on the rural development aspect. And of course, all this data and everything has to impact some way or the other the policy. And so we have also started the Policy and Governance Center at IRAD more recently. The concept that we are trying to promote at IRAD is basically we would like to build IRAD as a knowledge institute, creating it as where we have knowledge creation, where we have the villagers and the researchers and the volunteers. All this is a huge, tremendous amount of group that comes together to create the knowledge, and then there has to be somehow the knowledge has to be synthesized, it has to be made applicable to where all the knowledge needs to be applied. And of course, there has to be a process in the organization to be able to disseminate the knowledge back to where it needs to be applied to. So those are the key areas of focus. I'm running through this very quickly because that is not actually the topic that I'm supposed to be talking on. What we are trying to basically do at IRAD is to create demonstrations, replicable demonstration. Well, we feel that they are replicable demonstrations. And that is the whole concept behind it. Similarly, we have developed a demonstration village where all the practices, all the programs that I talk about are implemented throughout in a demonstration village, and that can be seen in one of the villages in Mewat. Similarly, at our building that we have created, we also call this a demonstration building. The building that is located in Sector 44 of Gurgaon. And this building is basically, as I said, is a demonstration that we want people to come and see the type of practices can be done in the environment that we are in, and they can be. We feel that those practices can be very easily replicable. Some of the questions that we have been asked are why the building. You are in the rural development aspect. Why to have the building in Gurgaon? We particularly feel that we need a platform which is accessible both to the governments as well as the corporates, and since it's being a knowledge institute, the knowledge should be readily available use it. Another thing we wanted to do is we wanted to set up a demonstration environment building, and then we also want to create an awareness in all these various aspects. As all of you know, water is a key aspect in Gurgaon. People who live in Gurgaon, and more recently there was an article in the paper also, all the water table in Gurgaon is depleting day by day practically. Many of the new buildings, or many of the new setups that are coming up, they're going to 1,000 feet down to extract the water before Gurgaon. So we said we need to tackle this problem. We have scarcity of water in this area, and we need water table. The water table is dropping. What we have done in our demonstration building basically is we have created what we call a zero runoff site. All the water that falls into the building or in that campus, and it's only a very small campus, not as campus as big as NDI, but our campus is about only 1.1 acre. But again, as a demonstration, we have put the way the slopes are designed, the way the roofs are designed, the way everything is designed in the building. Not a single drop of water will go out of our campus. We have a water storage tank, which is an underground tank, which stores about 400,000 liters of water underground, which suffices for us for running the building, I would say somewhere around 6 to 8 months throughout the year. All the remaining of the water, whatever does not get diverted to the tank, it gets stored, goes on for groundwater recharge. So there are various wells created throughout the campus where all the water that does not go to storage goes back into recharge in groundwater. We said we need to also, not just the fact that we store the water, and we also need to conserve the water somehow. And we said we want to implement those practices which will have minimal use of water throughout the building. So we have the plantations that are done in the buildings, the local species of plants and local brush that is planted, and they consume very little water. So of course sanitary fittings, which requires a lot of water, that also has been taken care of it. There's a big component of the water recycling, utilizing flushing for irrigation. Basically, the water goes through, all the water is separated into black water and gray water and used back into the building. Basically, another key component is that there's no load onto the municipal sewage treatment plants planted in the area. As all of you know, this campus, of course, the NDI is a beautiful campus, but for example, the toilets and the water running, continuously water running in the toilet, these type of things that we really need to be careful, because water is a resource that we need to preserve very, very carefully for the future. Next slide. The other key component of the building that you will see, and I invite all of you, by the way, to come to our campus. The campus is very close to here, about I would say about 2 to 3 kilometers. And another component, energy is a big component. When we handed out the candles, and I thought we were expecting a big power outage in this area, so we were going to need the candles to get through the day. But I'm glad we have the power here. So we have, as you can see, there's an increased demand on the energy because of the growth, continuous growth in the Gurgaon area. And there's high dependency on some fossil fuels, and which, of course, as you can see,